Math Genie.
In this video, I'll be explaining how to solve dependent probability problems. Let's look at the question. 4 green blocks and 3 red blocks are placed in a bag and selected at random. What is the probability of selecting 2 red blocks without replacement? Whenever you encounter any probability questions, you can divide it up into two different types of events. So you have a dependent event, and then you have an independent event. And these is like the two main types of events that you'll encounter in any math problem, in any probability problem. Dependent event, like the name suggests, just means the result of the first event is going to have an impact, or it's going to affect the second event, the result of the second event. However, independent event is the total opposite. So whatever you do in the first event is not going to impact or have an effect on the second event. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about dependent event problems in particular. In my next video, I'll be talking about independent events. Okay, so back to the question. It says that there are a total of 4 green blocks and 3 red blocks in a bag. So we have 4 green blocks, and then you have 3 red blocks. So how many are there in total? 7 blocks in total. That's how many blocks, the number of blocks that are in the bag. And you're going to select at random. So you're going to be selecting 2 red blocks without replacements. You want to figure out what kind of chance, so what is the probability of selecting 2 red blocks without replacement? And the key word here is without replacement, which means that whatever you draw in the first try, so for example, out of the 7 blocks in the bag, so if this is like the bag and you have 7 blocks, which I'll just represent as circles, let's say you drew this one. You're not going to be replacing this particular block after you pull it out. You're going to be choosing the second block out of the remaining blocks, like that. So this is a typical and the most basic dependent probability problems that you will ever encounter probably in math comps or any math competitions. So as I said, there are a total of 7 blocks. So what is the probability of selecting the first red block? How many red blocks are there? There are 3 red blocks. So out of the 7 blocks that you're given with, the probability of choosing the red one is 3, because there are 3 out of the 7 blocks. Multiply. Well, if you pull out this red block in your first try, how many blocks are you going to be left with? You're only going to be left with 6 blocks, because you're not going to be replacing the block that you just pulled out. And say that you pulled the red ball in your first try. How many red blocks are left? There are 2 red blocks left. So the second probability is going to be 2/6. These all cancel out, and that will give you 1/7. So the probability of choosing 2 red blocks consecutively is 1/7. And you might be wondering, like, wait, why did you multiply? Not add, not subtract, not divide. Why did you multiply here? Well, that is easily explained here. Because the probability of an event occurring at the same time is always expressed by multiplication. So, for example, pulling 2 red blocks at the same time or consecutively is possible, right? However, for example, let's say you roll a dice or something. If you roll a dice, is it possible for you to get a 6 and a 4 at the same time by rolling it one time? No. That's why you add instead of multiply in this case. However, it is possible for you to draw 2 consecutive times, right? That's why you multiply, because the event is possible. For example, with a dice question, let's say, what is the probability of pulling out either or rolling either 6 or 4 on the dice? In this case, you're going to do 1/6 plus 1/6. Why? Because there's 1/6 probability of you for choosing or rolling a 6, and again, the same probability of rolling a 4, which is equal to 1/3. So in this case, you're going to be adding, because you can't roll both a 6 and a 4 at the same time by rolling it once. Well, the story is going to be changing if they say, for example, roll it twice. If you say, when can we get, or what's the probability of getting a 6 and a 4 consecutively by rolling it twice, then you can multiply. And you'll get 1/36. Because guess what? This event is possible. However, this one here, you can't possibly roll a 6 and a 4 at the same time by rolling it once. That's why you're going to be adding. And this is a perfect example of when to multiply. So the answer again is 1/7. Thank you for staying until the end of this video.
Math Genie.